2023 general elections have now become history, with leaders elected at various tiers of government. After the political fireworks that characterized the elections, attention is returning to the business of governance, and Nigerians are beginning to set agenda for the incoming administration. One of the first things clearly spelled out in the Constitution is that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. Therefore, Nigerians expect a lot from leaders who have been elected to fulfill the deluge of promises made during electioneering. The incoming government has a Herculean task to measure up to the expectations of citizens by responding to their legitimate yearnings for good governance. What do Nigerians expect from the next administration? We shall find out on this agenda-setting episode of 30 Minutes. Welcome to the program. I am Mitaire Ikpen. It is safe to say most Nigerians expect the next administration at the federal level to hit the ground running and get its priorities right in all facets of national life. Tokpe Alabi in our first report brings us the expectations of a cross-section of Nigerians.
The 2023 presidential election in Nigeria has come and gone, with Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the ruling All Progressives Congress declared winner and president-elect. His closest rivals were Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party and Peter Obi of the Labour Party are already in court challenging Tinubu's victory, but these will not deter the transition program as indicated by the Presidential Transition Council headed by Boss Mustafa.
By the grace of God, there will be a formal handover on the 29th of May. It's a constitutional matter, and it has to be resolved. All litigations, whether resolved or unresolved, will not in any way stop the formal transfer of power. President Buhari is not spending a day extra after the 29th. He would hand over power to whoever has been declared by INEC.
Of course, for an election like this, there must be a winner and a loser. But I don't really see that as a loss per se, because everybody is going to contest with ideas of how to bring about, improved development. So I believe that after elections, when one person has been declared as the winner, the other person should accept defeat in good faith, but should not cease to also offer his contributions to whoever has been elected as the leader. All of them are of the same intentions to better the lot of the people. And I believe that they can always advise and bring to bear some of the ideas they have.
All eyes are already on the incoming government and what it will bring to the table in terms of national growth and development. Many Nigerians believe the task ahead of the Tinubu administration is enormous, especially in uniting the country and restoring public faith in government.
We need leadership. That's what it calls for. A leader who can actually bring everyone together is what Nigeria desire at this time. And the lack of it is not going to augur well for the country. The religious bigotries, the tribalism, go to your state syndrome, and all sort of things that rear its heads during this election is something that, as a nation, we should frown at and must look for a way to stem it. We need to be united and we need to heal.
The first thing is who they actually nominate to get appointive position as cabinet ministers will go a long way to show if this government is serious to actually bring about the dividends of democracy or is business as usual.
I am challenging the next president to first of all define democracy as a system of government that abhors violence. A system of government that does not allow, electoral malpractice. And also a system of government that ensures that, whatever is the agenda, that is being, the manifesto that has brought the party to power, that agenda is fulfilled to the satisfaction of the Nigerian people or the voters. And there should be no discrimination in terms of, oh, this particular area of the country did not vote for me, or this individual was my political enemy. No. The mandate is, whether or not not everybody voted for you. The mandate was pan-Nigerian.
The incoming administration is expected to tackle corruption head-on by taking off from where the Buhari administration stopped, addressing challenges of insecurity, crime and criminality, reducing poverty, unemployment, underemployment and inequality in the society are also among citizens' expectations from the next administration.
And if you look at the social vices we're facing in the country, so high rate of crime, armed robbery, kidnapping, is because there are no jobs. Today we're dealing with over 32% unemployment rate. Apart from unemployment, you're dealing with underemployment because a lot of young people do not have skills. Today the world is talking about ideas and skills. Nobody's even looking at, oh, what degree do you have? Beyond your degree, what value can you bring? Again, it's for the incoming administration to invest in ensuring that even graduates can go and get skills.
Education. We have so many universities in this country. We have so many colleges of education in this country. We have so many polytechnics in this country. And every year, these institutions turn out hundreds and hundreds of graduates into the labor market. I'll be the first to also agree with you that the federal government or the government of any type cannot absorb all employment or graduates or those seeking for employment. But it can create an environment, an enabling environment for the private sector to key in and employ these citizens.
From the beginning of the year, Nigerians grappled with challenges of fuel and cash scarcity along with the existing national security threats. Many are of the opinion that policies and programs that will impact the ordinary citizens are welcome. The 2023 elections and transition offer Nigeria an opportunity to reposition itself for good governance, sustainable growth and development.
Take, for instance, the health sector. One would have thought that this lesson that the COVID-19 epidemic brought to us would have been a catalyst for us to address this sector very seriously. And so what you have now is you have our young doctors, nurses, and the like leaving the country in droves. That is another epidemic that is upon us, and we don't seem to know that it's a very serious situation that needs to be arrested as soon as we can. I'm not sure a day goes by without a Nigerian doctor leaving the country. We don't have enough doctors to begin with. We don't have enough nurses to begin with. Federal government spends or state government spends this huge amount of money to train doctors and nurses, only for the so-called first world to take advantage of them, while we remain lacking in the number of doctors that we have. And I believe that the federal government ought to actually beam its light towards this situation, because it owes it to its citizens to at least give them good health. And so the more they look into it, the better for citizens.
The expectation is that the incoming president will consider the security and welfare of the Nigerian people as top priority.
My advice to them is they should, look into the masses. They should consider the masses in everything they do, because the masses are really suffering in this country. They should consider the masses.
I expect they would have learned from the past, and I expect an improvement based on experience and awareness that we have now.
We can't afford to be going back again. We need people that can change this country totally, with a position being given to them.
As Nigeria is to have someone who is not self-centered, who is looking beyond the line. What I see with the way I've been going outside the country is just that Nigeria is backward. And number one problem that I see that Nigeria have today, and we need to put more weight into, is the power sector. Because without lights in Nigeria, without power in Nigeria, there is a lot of things that cannot work.
There is a huge potential in the African economy and even the global economy, because right now we're dealing with global power play. So Bola Ahmed Tinubu must position Nigeria using his team of vibrant, skilled, and exposed, refined people that would work with him. Now again is to also look at infrastructure. Yes, President Muhammadu Buhari has done really well in investing in infrastructure, but he needs to consolidate on those investments where we can maintain those investments and build on them, particularly getting the right skill, right manpower to run this infrastructural investment. But the biggest investment is human capital development. Again, investing in people, investing in their capacity, and allowing them to deliver and provide each and every one of us with public service. And that's where we would enjoy the dividends of democracy. And if we can do this, we can help rebuild back trust into the society, because trust is important for any initiative of government to work, for any initiative of Bola Ahmed Tinubu to work, to get acceptability and also get popularity. The Nigerian people must first trust him, his cabinet, and his government. So if we can do that, then the Nigerian people would be the one to even market those initiatives, take ownership of it, and even help amplify these various initiatives.
Well, Mitaire, before I hand over to you on this episode of 30 Minutes, I want to believe as Nigerians hopefully count down to the May 29 handover to the new administration, expectations are high from the incoming government to live up to its promise of renewed hope and deliver a popular regime of good governance.
Of course, Tope, the essence of having renewed hope is for achieving good governance and equitable distribution of resources that will trickle down to ordinary Nigerians through effective and efficient policies and programs of government. All eyes will also be on the legislature to provide laws and oversight for good governance. Dennis Adegunloye, in our next report, takes a look at expectations from the 10th National Assembly, which shall comprise new set of lawmakers and the old.
In a few weeks' time, the 10th National Assembly will come into being and will pick up from where the 9th National Assembly concluded.
PIB bill, where from the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th till 8th could not achieve, 9th Assembly achieved it. Constitution amendment, 9th Assembly achieved it. Electoral Act, 9th Assembly achieved it. And so many other establishment bill and so many other things.
Some legislators will be back for another 4-year term, while the majority will be new. Successive assemblies usually acquire for themselves an identity which is generally coined by society. It is common knowledge that the outgoing 9th National Assembly is regarded by Nigerians as being in compliance with the executive, so much so that it has been tagged as a rubber stamp assembly. However, this crop of lawmakers has always vigorously defended their belief that a legislature that works closely with the executive is the best way forward for Nigeria. What are the views of experts in this arm of government?
It has always been seasonal that over 60 to 70% of experienced lawmakers are being shoved out with new ones coming in. Right from 1990, we keep on repeating this. I've been in the 8th Senate. I wasn't in the 9th and I was in the 10th. But if I happen to be in the 11th, I would come with my experience of what I have. But you can see every year we keep on removing people of experience and bringing people of convenience. And this becomes the problem. My expectation with the 10th National Assembly is that they have a duty to maintain the sacrosanctity of the parliament, its independence, and also its responsibility in performing its oversight function. So we have a 9th National Assembly that has acquired the image of being a rubber stamp. Our own 8th is going to be too hostile and combative. So the 10th now will now have to carve a niche for themselves.
Well, you saw that a lot of people christened the 9th Assembly a rubber stamp assembly. Not me, not my assessment. And It was also from the statement of the leadership, who initially, even at their inauguration, said that whatever the president, whatever that comes from the presidency, they will approve, which for me was a wrong start and a wrong statement. Yes, there are three arms of government: the legislature, the judiciary, the executive. Yes, their functions are supposed to be complementary, but there is some level of independence, especially between the legislature and the executive, because the legislature is the bastion of democracy, is the heartbeat of democracy, which is defined government of the people, for the people, by the people. And that's why they are like the watchdog. They checkmate the executive. So you cannot say whatever they bring. So people's impression was that it was a rubber stamp legislature. But for the 10th assembly, for the 10th legislature, I've saw people jostling already for positions, especially the Senate President and Speaker. Yeah. First and foremost, the 109 legislators, to a large extent, are qualified, but there is hierarchy clause. But in that hierarchy clause should not take away the most important thing, and that is capacity, ability, antecedent, character. That's why that seniority clause came in, that you would have been known by your performance in the legislature. You're not just a rookie or a new person. People don't know about you, but now people should be able to assess you, both your colleagues and outsiders, to see, oh, this man has done well, he's a good legislator, we know his character, we know the person. You know that unfortunately in the legislature, so many people with different characters are there. Because as a senior president, you become primus inter pares, first amongst equals. So you're not only going to defend the legislature, you're also going to defend the country at all levels. And you're somebody we can be proud of. So for me, I think that as they go down to their inauguration, those who will be there, they should be careful, those they choose as their principal officers or presiding officers. And in some cases, if you look at you don't have enough people, there's nothing wrong reviewing the rules.
I think this is the highest rate of turnover of the legislature. And I'm praying that this will be like the beginning of a new legislature. A legislature that will have confidence of the public, that they will have a confidence that we have to return you. We'll have to move away from what appears to be that governors, when they want to retire, finish, they will have to come as a retirement home. Or people, when you want to do favor to somebody, you have to send him to the legislature. The legislature is the most cerebral, the most intellectual, the number one arm of government. And I repeat, the legislature is the number one arm of government. The second arm of government is the executive. The third arm of government is the judiciary. The fourth arm of government is the press. Now, it is not for naught that the Constitution made it the number one arm of government and says, we the people. That is where the people are. So we should come with the highest level of intellect. And the legislators who have come should know that there is one thing I've always said. It is the laws that you make that a full panel of the Supreme Court will sit and say, what was the intendment of the legislature? I think the legislators coming should take themselves very seriously. Take the legislative work very seriously, because we're having challenge of the Electoral Act, challenge of interpretation, because of some details which were missed at a certain point. I apologize if I offend the legislators, but even the courts have noted the details that were not attended to, and they say that their hands are tied. So this should be a guide to the incoming legislators, that they are not coming for a cum-chop. They are not coming for a show. They should know that they don't have immunity. It is not a place to hide yourselves, from prosecution, But one of the things that I'm happy about, and I know this is going to be very costly for me, I'm very happy that very many governors have lost election to the Senate, Because when the governors come to the Senate, they still sometimes carry themselves as lords and gods. They still behave as if they still enjoy immunity. They still behave as if they have all the commissioners to answer their questions. They still behave as if some 7 people should carry their bag into the chamber. They still behave as if they should have some 53 cars driving and following them in the convoy. I'm very happy that they have lost election. I'm very, very happy. Let the legislature reinvent itself again and be the legislature that was headed by Gali Umana Abba and Dr. Okadigbo Chuba, the Oyi of Oyi. Let the legislature reinvent itself again.
And as for issues critical to Nigerians, what should be the focus of the incoming legislators?
Yeah, we expect that the 10th Assembly that is inaugurated around June this year should be an independent National Assembly from the executives. They must do their work and be a check on the executive arm of government. They must be independent in the operation, and they must also take Nigeria first in all that we do. The national interests must be above personal interests or party interests. Because when they are there, in the National Assembly, they are no longer representing Nigerians, their constituency or the senatorial district. They should put Nigerians first in all the activities in National Assembly. Because National Assembly is a major arm of government that must bring stability to our democracy. If they play the part of the outgoing 9th Assembly, this nation will be in trouble. Because you can see that the fallout of this election, this 2023 election, there's a lot of, Nigeria has divided much than before. There's serious division, sharp division between Nigerians. The issue of ethnicity, religion, issue of regional issue and all that, and the issue of insecurity. So Nigeria is more divided than ever before. So the National Assembly must come in to bridge the gap of the division in our nation and ensure that there's unity to bridge the gap and ensure unity of Nigerians, ensure that democracy is sustained. As I'm talking to you, over 60% of Nigerians have lost confidence in the process. So National Assembly must come on to bridge this gap, ensure unity, ensure that we have one country, and address serious issues of insecurity that are ravaging our nation, address the issue of economy, because National Assembly is the mainstay of democracy. So if they play to the gallery, we will miss it forever. So I wish them well, and I pray that God Almighty will help them as they come on board.
Amend where we have not satisfied the masses and do more in those areas. It's only 9th Assembly where you find out that the budget are being funded 100%. They have never been so. There is a lot that the National Assembly, the 9th Assembly have achieved. So we are looking at the funding of the budget, 100% should continue. We are looking at running hand to hand with the executive. We are looking at to have a quality leadership in National Assembly that will take a lead from where this leadership have stopped.
It now remains to be seen how the incoming 10th National Assembly will conduct its own brand of legislative work. Will it be a continuation of the stance of the 9th National Assembly? Will we see something more along the lines of the interrogative 8th National Assembly, or will there be something entirely different? Time will tell.
Many thanks, Dennis, for your in-depth report. Now, whether the promises made by elected leaders and the expectations of Nigerians will be met within the next political cycle of 4 years, only time will tell. Meanwhile, Nigerians also have a duty to keep tabs on their elected representatives to ensure they work for the greater good of the nation. That's it for 30 Minutes today. Look out for another interesting episode of the program next week. I am Mitaire Ikpen. Bye for now.